Okay, good afternoon, folks. So I'm a bit late. It's all right. I was just looking at this. Is just one evaluation, by the way. So if you wonder why I'm trading 5 contracts and having a bit bigger stop, so it's all right. I was looking at this. We've got a bit of an overshoot there and 2 legs of correction. So I expect to push up and break these highs. So I initially had my stop down here. So we've got a channel with a big overshoot. Perfect 2-legged correction closing there. I thought this is coming up to break the high, so I'm trading 5 contracts on an evaluation. So so I expect that to go up. So let's have a look. Speedy, how you doing? Butter Keytree, how are you? Ionis, good morning. You took the second entry long and got saved by 1 extra tick. Second extra long. Which one was that? Second entry long. Oh, that one there. Was it that one there? Yeah, that 1 tick makes a difference sometime. But I expect this to go up here to break these highs. Usually, yeah, that one, yeah. After a channel with an overshoot, obviously after an overshoot, there can be a bunch of things happen. Usually, what I've noticed, when we have a perfect 2-legged correction, it'll move up again. So there may be something larger there, so I'm willing to get a bit, you guys know I get a bit risky on these evaluations, so I expect that to break those highs, which is why I'm trading this a little bit more aggressively, because it is an evaluation. So I expect that to push up there. It may even go higher, but I expect a leg and quite likely another leg, so we'll see how we get on here. And then I'll get back to trading my normal accounts. So push up, 2 legs of correction, a leg and a leg, a little bit of a pullback, and then up some more. I'd say so. I want to get above there as well, because there's probably going to be a few stops above that line there. So if we get another push here, I'll put my stop under there. But we're pushing up nice on the NQ now, so hopefully after that nice correction we'll get some good movement. So if we can get a push above this line here, yeah, beautiful. I'll put that there then. So it's gone orange. Okay, we're back in. So fact, I'm going to tighten that to there because we may get a bit of a pullback here. Fact, I'm going to take it right up. Let's leave it there. It looks quite strong, this, so I'm just going to follow up by the bars. Come on, up you go. It's starting to lose a little bit of traction there, so let's put it there. Come on, push up. In fact, let's keep it below the tick. Excuse me. Okay, it got me. I thought it was going to give it. In fact, so I was tempted to buy that again. You got the same trade, yeah. What I notice whenever we get a channel, it's in a 2-legged correction, because sometimes we'll get, reversals and stuff, but that was a really nice 2-leg. You can see it then, so I expect to push up. I still expect to get to those highs, but once we get above here, it makes sense that we get a bit of a pullback. So so whether it goes from something like that or not, we'll see. It's all right. I like to try and trade me evaluations in the open, because if you can work out what's going to happen, you get usually a quick move.
Order filled.
Have a look here. I'm just wondering whether we're going to get a. I'm going to put it there, so when it breaks above there, just in case it comes down and traps me, because there may be a lower high forming on the NQ. In which case, if it triggers that bar there, it may come down and give us a lower high. but it shouldn't until it triggers that bar. So I expect it to at least do
Target
that.
filled.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's going to do what I expected it to do. But do you know, sometimes I look at these setups and I'd love to trade what I see, because usually what I see, if I'm confident, usually works out. But I just can't be that risky with PAs. But £25 evaluation, I don't mind. But you can see we've got 2 legs up there. I mean, we've got a touch here. It's fitting nice and a touch there, but we've had that big strong overshoot, but a really nice 2-legged correction. And when that happens, we almost always push up and break the highs. So if you're willing to take a bit of risk and start with your stop, after that one, sometimes after we've had a channel, I'll see Mac mark those. He did a couple of days ago. And then sometimes a higher low, but the higher low I didn't like. And rightly so, it came down, but that one almost always stays intact. So if you're prepared to put your stop here and let it ride up to the highs, it happens nearly all the time. Excuse me. So let's get back to normal now anyway. So I like to trade my evaluations on the open, because if you can work out what's going to happen, it moves quite quick and you can get in and out. So let's get back to normal. So let's put that there. So 6. So let's do this pre-allocation. So that one, let's do 8. Do we do 8? Yeah, let's do 8. 8 contracts there, and then 2 on the rest. 2. So hope everyone had a good trading day yesterday. There wasn't a lot around. I took 1 trade yesterday. I think Mac only marked 3 or 4 high probability ones. Rodian, how you doing, mate? I did that yesterday and passed the 50. Good on you, mate. Good on you. I don't know what it is, and it sounds a bit ignorant, I suppose, but I don't like trading the evaluations just normally. Because they seem to take too long. If I was to, build up to $3,000, I'd expect it to take probably 6 weeks, something like that. And you've got 2 payments then, and I'd rather get them into the pay-in mode. So I don't mind being a bit aggressive. And yeah, I probably only have a 30% win rate if I trade them aggressively, but at least every 3 I buy, I pass 1, which isn't that bad really, when you can, especially at the moment when you've got the opportunity to pass it today and trade live tomorrow. So, let me have a look at this. Is there a bit of a spike in a channel there, maybe? Or there? Let's have a look. It's a bit early to tell, really, isn't it? But this, to me, almost always breaks those highs after a nice correction. So we're a few ticks away there anyway. I could have held on and waited for it, but I just want to get into my normal accounts. So let me just check that showing 56. They're all, yeah, excellent. When you have several PAs, you trade those evals very aggressively. Yeah, you do. I try to pass them in one day when doing an eval now. Yeah, the trouble is, mate, as you probably have the same of me, you do fail a lot, yeah. So it did exactly what I expected it to do. I could have held on and got onto the $1,700, but I just want to get back to my normal account, really. But yeah, you do go through a lot. But the way I see it at the moment, what is it, $33, $35? It's about £26 English, which isn't a lot, really. So I would say every 3 I have, I probably fail 2 and pass 1, maybe more actually. So for every 4, I pass 1. So if I pay $100, I pass 1, and then another. £100. If I spend £100, I pass 1, and then I spend another £110. We're talking about English now on an evaluation. So for every £250 English, I'm almost buying myself a PA. But the beauty is, if you can manage to hold the PAs, that £250 you can make back in a day or a day and a half. See on the what's it? So there we go. I know it isn't everyone's cup of tea, and people say, "Oh, you should trade them the same," and I've got no problem with that. But I don't know, when they're so cheap, you just want to pass them and get them into PA, don't you? But I get it's not for everyone. So, what's going on today? We have got some news coming up at 3 p.m. Prelim. Consumer sentiment. I don't think that has usually a big impact on the markets, but we'll have to see. So it did break those highs, which I expected it to. So yeah, that to me was the safest place to put that. Channel up, overshoot. After that perfect correction, Mac marked something a couple of days ago there. I'm just trying to look at what he... Let me just see if I can find the one he marked like that. After an overshoot, when we get a correction, because after a correction, usually it'll continue on up then. Let me have a look. Also, I've noticed quite a few traders now, after an overshoot, taking the lower high. Marco marked it, Mac marked it. He's only recently started marking those. What's that, the one there? No, maybe it wasn't. See if I can find where he marked that one. No, I can't find it now. But no, what he basically does is when he gets a correction, if that's a small enough risk, often he'll mark that. But usually after that, I usually look for a higher low. That to me, maybe a bit too far for a higher low. It went a bit, yeah, but for a bigger move, I think that after that correction is by far the safest place to keep your stop. But yeah, you are risking it. But if it's on an evaluation and you're reading the markets right, you can get up there. Now, bearing in mind, you wouldn't be able to do that with 10 contracts because when it went up here, so much profit. When it came back to here, that'd eat up your drawdown. But if you did it with 5 contracts, you'd get away with it because there needs to be a difference of 12 points of movement, and you were safe there. So that one, you'd have been okay there. But if you got in there with 5 contracts, I mean, it went up to, well, let's say 10 points. Let's say even just to the highs there. Let's call it 9 points. So that's $450 times 5. So that's over $2,000 if you can work out what's going on here. So same again, not a huge amount of volume. Volume does definitely died off. That was low volume, that one. It was a little better yesterday, eventually. But yeah, we had a strong day yesterday. So we seem to have a strong move and then a couple of days of a little bit sideways. So we had quite a strong move there from the open to the close. Same again. And a couple of days of sideways, chopping around. And now we seem to be off. So I certainly would expect to hit that measured move and maybe quite a bit higher. And we're not a million miles away from all-time highs, so whether we'll get that high or not today before the weekend, who knows. Let me just check everything's firing as it should.
Order submitted.
Yeah, everything's fine there, so beautiful.
Order cancelled.
Kev, how you doing, my friend? I've been trading Pats on NQ now for 4 points, 1 contract, and it's been amazing. I'm 1 day away from my first payout. Good for you, mate. I would love to go for more points because I think so many of the time it's there. Now, I think I looked at my trades, my winning trades, a few months back, and I worked out that 80% of my winning trades went for over 6 points. So Now, bearing in mind, if you're trading a tight range from top to bottom, 6 points isn't really an option. But, if we're doing something like this, holding on for 6 points, maybe. The trouble is, unless you're over that $26,000 threshold where your drawdown stops at $5,100. So once you hit that level, even if the market goes up 20 points, comes out and takes you out for break even, it doesn't affect. There's no issues with the drawdown. But maybe even if you traded 2 contracts and went for your normal 2 points, put it to break even and tried to maybe swing it. There's so many different ways, but I've noticed Joe, one of the traders, who's been trading a bit longer than me, he's on Pats as well. He started posting his trades a bit. He started going for a few more points on the odd trade. But as your experience grows, you'll start to understand what you see. Now, I'd have bet money that was going to do that after that really nice clear correction. So maybe a trade from there is worth going for. I mean, if it's a 2 point, if you're risking $200 maybe on one on one trade, one account maybe, then it may be worth putting your stop up and putting your profit up here and just maybe seeing if it'll work. But you need to be confident you know what you're reading. But I'd love to be able to take more points. I really would. I moved up from initially 1 point to 6 ticks, and then 6 ticks to 2 points, and then I tend to flitter between 2 points and 2.5 points, and trying to get as close to that 1-to-1. If you can get 1-to-1 and trading even 80%, you're doing really well. Which is another reason I'm watching this other strategy as well, this other setup. This type of setup there when you get that width bar. So this is something I earmark. So there is a spike in a channel there. That's what I call a double channel. And every time we get a bearish bar which closes close to its low, there, if you bought there as soon as the close of that and went for 1-to-1, so you had a 2 point risk, which is there, and 2 point profit, straight away, it crosses over, came down a tick, went straight up and hit your 2 points. Maximum risk on 2 contract is $200. So it's a straightforward 1-to-1, and that worked. Whenever you get that type of thickness, what I would consider a double channel, if half of that would be for something like this. Whenever we get a bearish bar, that one I wouldn't do it. It's not bearish enough, nor is that one. Although, if you bought at both of the close of both of those bars, they worked. So that is a strategy I'm looking at. Now, there is another one there, a small one. And same again, you get the bearish bar, crosses over, came down 2 or 3 ticks, went straight up for your profit. That is very accurate. And what I love about it is it maximum 2 risk, 2 point risk, 2 point profit, and it works really well. Because a lot of the times, if we're taking a trade here, for instance, that bar there, let's say, sometimes Max says in these strong channels, almost if you buy every one of those bars, they work. And up until that one, and that one, they did. But what I like about it, if I was going to buy that bar, because it was strong off the key entry point, if I bought there, I'd be out before that bar even finishes forming. So same again there. If you bought that there, as soon as it closed, it went up. You bought that there, as soon as it closed, it went up. It's so accurate, that is. But it's easy to do it when you're looking at it. Price has already happened. There's another one there. It's always easy when you can see it happen, but doing it in real time, obviously, there's a little bit more. So there's one I can see there, lovely tight double channel, bearish bar, 1 tick off its lows, crosses straight over, 1 tick, woof, straight up. So it's almost like a mini pullback in this. Is there any more? Yeah, there's one there. Maybe a little spike in a channel, maybe a little bit not there, but we came down, bullish bar, crossed over, ticked above, came straight down, bullish bar. That one I'm not so sure about, but that one still would have worked. If you bought that one, as soon as it closes, there's your 8 tick, stop, straight away. All these I'm seeing work. And all it is just a little mini pullback, came straight down, pullback, slightly bigger one there, but yeah, same here as well. There's another one there. As soon as we get into this sort of size channel, little bullish bar there, crossed over, went up 2 or 3 ticks, eventually came down. There's one there. So if you got in on that one even, there's your 8 tick profit. There's your 8 tick, there's your 8 tick stop. Same again. That one worked. That one worked. Just in that channel. But you can see how many of them. Sometimes you'll get 2 trades within one little. So that is something that's really accurate. And the beauty of it is it's a one-to-one risk. So you're only risking. Now, I would love to be able to trade Pats and be risking 2 points per trade maximum, because it rarely does nowadays. I mean, at the moment, the ATR is basically 2, so you know, tick above, tick below. Your average risk is 2.5 points minimum. The best part of trading is that you realise that your stop has to be larger than the smallest wick on the NQ. Yeah. You know, this is something that I notice. When you're sat here glued to these charts every day, you do notice things, and you do notice certain patterns. Now, where do you think all these strategies came from? They weren't written down in tablets in history. They're formed from people watching the markets and noticing certain patterns and certain ways that that price works. And that's exactly how I've seen that strategy. And then somebody mentioned to me a few weeks ago that what's it as a strategy like it? What's his name? Al Brooks. He has a strategy similar or the same or whatever it is, but you do notice that. You know, nice uptrend, bearish bar, crosses straight over, comes down a tick, straight up. You see this so many times, and these channels, same again, a little bearish bar, crosses over, came down a few ticks, straight up. Whether I'd take that one because we're only really started that, but you can see what I mean. There's none there. There's some there. Bearish bar, not quite on its lows, but it did work. But this thing is so accurate. But it's got to be this type of here. Here we go. We're up here again. See that one there? Crosses over, comes down a couple of ticks, straight up. But that size channel. But you'll find you're going to find 4 or 5 trades in a day at least. Have you looked at your new strategy idea on the 32nd minute? I haven't, mate. But it's certainly worth looking at. So let's have a look. I'm not doing nothing here anyway, so let's have a look. Let's do it on the yes, and we'll look it up on a minute. The thing I like about the tick charts is the bars are a lot the same, whereas if you change over to, see, this is the minute. If you change over the minute, they're a lot more sporadic. Do you know what I mean? If you look at my chart, the bars are very, well, actually, there are a few big bars, in all fairness, but usually when we get into the day, these are all very similar size. Yeah, it seems a bit choppy, this. That's the minute chart. Yeah, it's a lot harder to notice channels, isn't it, with these? Let's have a look on the 2 minutes, see if that settles things down. Yeah, it's still, I mean, to be honest with you, that looks a better chart to trade Pats on, to be honest with you. Leg down, couple of legs up. Lovely looking lower high there, straight down. It's wicky and lots of highs and lows, so this looks like something that would be good. But what I like about this is, I don't think we can do 30 seconds, can we? No, we can't. Oh no, sorry, that's 30 minutes. Maybe we can do it. But this, what I find is this, it's a lot more smoother, these channels, than when we looked at that minute or 2 minute. It was a lot more wicky, up and down. But, you know, if you can see it there, bearish bar finishes on its low, right in the middle of that trend. Beautiful, crosses over, comes down a tick, straight up. And after these bearish bars in there, which really are small pullbacks, it crosses over and almost always just pushes straight up. So in a lot of cases, we'd normally be entering a trade above a signal bar. We'd be entering at the start of it, And by the time that forms, we're already in and out. You may say there's one there, crossed up, it came down. It seems so accurate. But it's got to be, well, if I've seen it, just by looking, it can't be a complicated strategy. It's probably one of the simplest strategies I've ever seen, really. Very, very straightforward. Nice tight channel, bearish bar, buy. 2-point risk, 2-point stop, or even you could try it with 6 ticks. I started it with 6 ticks, but I changed it to 2 points. But, you know, I'm happy to risk 2 points on a trade. What I don't like is when some of these pat setups end up 3 and 3.5 points. The good thing about if you're risking 2, if it's 1 for 1, you lose 1, you win 1, you're back to where you were, minus, you know, small amount of fees. But it's just something to, you know, there's such a lot of sitting around time, isn't there? But you can pick these little channels off and just work out, you know, how many, just look through them at the end of the day. But that is a perfect example of a nice size. It's a little spiking channel, that, but lovely little channel like that, and perfect. If you bought there, you'd be in 2-point profit really quickly. So it's a really nice example. What I would consider a double channel. So if you just took half of one of these and added them to them, that would sort of be a, you know, I mean, anyway, I don't need to explain this. That would be sort of like a single channel. So it's half the thickness. That's half the thickness of that. But push up, little bit of sideways, push up, little bit of sideways, push up. And that's really how markets work, even on a big scale. Push up, sideways, push up, sideways. Same again, push up, sideways. Buy in, taking profit, buy in, taking profit. But in these ones, it doesn't move that far before it pushes up again. So let's have a look. Are we continuing on up? I think we've possibly ruled out maybe any range at the moment, because if we had range tops, we've pushed up, come back in and pushed up again and bounced again. So for me at the moment, I would probably say this is likely to continue. Leg up, 2 legs of correction. But yeah, see if you'd have held on to that bar now and followed it up. If you'd have bought that there, you know, I mean, even if you put your stop, even if you bring your stop up to there, to there, to there, where's the next swing? There. There's not another swing to there, so you'd been taken out there for 7 points. Something like that. Okay, this is that news, I'm assuming, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. I usually put a... I hope no one got caught in that. I usually put a high probability trade thing on my screen, which I haven't. And look where that's bounced. Look at that. I could even adjust that marginally so it fits. Let's see if it holds there. So 2 legs back. I wouldn't be surprised if it continued on up. Usually when we get that, we recover most of it, and it's nothing major really. It's a slightly larger bar, but it's not humongous. So leg down, high or low here, I don't think would be a bad option. But yeah, at some point, what I might do is just use one of my PAs to trade that strategy on a separate chart, exactly the same as this, but just keep the 2 things separately, and maybe just try it initially on one contract. So it's $100 profit, $100 risk. Let's see if we push back up into this. Fact, now we've had that news. This looks more like it could range a little. I trade similar method to what you just described. I use the EMA rather than a channel. Works well on gold too. Gary, how you doing? You're a new face, bud. Where you from, mate? Yeah, like I say, there's so many different ways, and a lot of these strategies, people come up with them just by looking at the markets. You know, if you sat here every day, what we're really looking at is human behaviour. What are human beings think when we have an overshoot? What do human beings think when it comes back to the same line? You wouldn't want to go short there, would you? So more people are going to go long there. So it is. It's human behaviour, and, you know, human beings are creatures of patterns. Are you from Essex? Sunny Essex. Lovely in the UK at the moment, isn't it? Shropshire I am. I think we've got, so you're closer to London, aren't you? So you've probably got the best part of 24, 25 degrees today. 22 it is today, and sunny. It's lovely actually in the UK today. I believe it gets even warmer on Saturday. So, but yeah, there's so many different ways. I mean, I trade Pats, and yeah, most of the time when we take these second entries, in other words, two little legs back, that EMA is like my lifeline. It's, you know, it's you're on the coast, are you? Oh, fantastic. So Essex. So what coastline are you on? Let me think. I lived down that part of the world years ago. Where was it? What's it called? It's East London, isn't it? What's that place I used to live? I can't think. North Sea. Oh, it's the North Sea, is it? Shoebury-Ness. You probably got Sheerness as well down there. I lived down there for a while when we were younger. My stepdad was in the army at the time, and yeah, it's a nice part of the world, that, isn't it? I used to go to some of the air shows at Biggin Hill, which is sort of South London, between South London and sort of Brighton area. Absolute stunning countryside around there. Beautiful. There's some nice parts of the country, actually. The UK is beautiful. There's so many great places to visit in the UK. Steep with history. You're a bit of you're a northerner, are you? What part of the north? Because I've lived up there as well. I've got some family that way. Got family in Yorkshire, family in Hull. Yeah. Spent some time in North Yorkshire, I did, as a young'un. Same again, military. Are we pushing back up now? Yeah, it's nice, the UK. Especially when it's sunny. North of Shoebury-Ness. But still, I got you. Yeah. So yeah, not far from you, Cambridge as well. Another fantastic place to visit, Cambridge. Same again, steep with history. It is a nice part of the world, actually, that is. I gotta say. What are we doing here? Are we ranging or not? Are we going to push up after this break? Let me have a look. So, 2 legs down, 2 legs up. What are we doing here? Are we going to push up? Break these highs? Let me just have a little look here. Or are we going sideways? So, leg and a leg, leg and a leg. What are we doing here? I would be surprised, because we were working up, that we wouldn't test these highs. So let's have a look at that NQ. Where's me 1500? Oh, there we go. Check out this method. Definitely check out that method. Some more one-to-one risk reward. Best of luck with it. Yeah, you too, bud. You too. Trouble is, at the moment, what I trade, price action, I'm probably averaging 3, maybe 4 trades a week. So there is a lot of downtime just sitting around. Now, I only trade for about 3 hours, but you know, it's a long time to sit without seeing anything. But if you just notice these things, and even just earmark them, if you see them enough and they work enough, I think you'll automatically start to look in a way of taking them, maybe just on a sim, or trade them on a valuation, or maybe on a PA account, but just keep the contract size low. I think now this is going to continue on up to test these highs. But we could go a bit sideways, so there's also a possibility it may come down and retest this. Hard to say. As we know, these markets have got a way of stitching you up. So 2 legs up, 2 legs of correction, and that was looking nice up until we had that news. But so many of the time with the news, if it's not too drastic, we most of the time we recover from it. But we may have a leg and it may trap some longs there. That was my concern about going long. So if you thought we're going along there and you jumped into any of there, chances are it's probably going to come down lower than there. Yeah, I've got a bit mixed feelings here at the moment. It could go up, but I have a feeling we're going to have a bit of a flush down. It looks like it's going sideways. So it could do either or really at the moment. In fact, there's a bit of a trap on the NQ, which is triggered. So, okay, it may go up. We'll soon find out now. If this is coming down, chance it'll do it off the back of that trigger and then down, eat that stop up. But we have had a break of this, what I think was a channel. But I don't know now, actually. Let's get rid of it. No, I think it's more just sideways. Sam, how you doing, buddy? Absolute scorching hot mid-20s. That's like the Sahara, isn't it? That's the Sahara of Scotland. It is nice and it's lovely. I've been walking around in shorts and flip-flops. I have for a few days now. I've even been out watering the garden. It is nice, isn't it? Yeah, it does make a change. It's getting lighter and lighter in the mornings, getting lighter at night. Yeah, it is nice, isn't it? Mid-20s. Yeah, I bet you guys have got a serious panic. You're not used to that. You'll have to take off your cagoules. Yeah, you get some harsh weather up there, don't you? But yeah, in the 20s is nice. I even had my fan on last night, I've got to say. Nothing nicer going to bed with a nice cool breeze on your face. So, are we making 2 legs and pushing up? I have a feeling that stop's going to get eaten up. And maybe 1 or 2 of these. So that one's gone. Let's have a look. Are we now going to have a second entry long? Which I tend to avoid that now, just in case this market's a bit finicky. So if we get a second entry long, I'm avoiding it, but I will take a higher low. See if it gets below there. Yeah, it's going to, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Right, now, are we going to retest this? Or are we going to have another leg down? Well, we just eaten up some stops before we push up. I think we're going to at least test this. I hadn't really wanted that second entry short, but couldn't bring myself to take it. That one there, yeah, of course it was actually, wasn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's because we've had that news. We seem to be sort of working up slowly, but because we've had that news, you just don't know because it could trigger you and then push up. Because, sometimes, as we know, when we have these news, it recovers. But as I've got rid of that channel, I think it looks more like a range, really. So I'd expect it to at least test these before it goes up. So that's almost like another correction, really, isn't it? We've had multiple tests of this. So would you want to trade that? At the moment, I wouldn't. So if you went long there, it could continue there. It's a bit hard to say at the moment, isn't it? It's not very clear. There's a lack of volume. Sometimes, obviously, the more volume, the more of a pattern you can see. But at the moment, it's hard to put anything anywhere. In fact, I'll probably even get rid of that. Apart from the first, we had that overnight stuff, which was slow, and then later in the morning, UK time, we had a couple of legs up, and up until then, it's just been a bit sideways. So I've just put that channel there just to stop me from going long here. Not that it won't work, but because we've got a touch, and a touch, so there is a possibility we could come down some more here. Sean, how you doing, mate? How's your lag? It's fine at the moment, mate. My lag is suddenly spiked up. Sometimes when we get a bit of volume, it can do, but you can start by just right-clicking on your time down here and click adjust time. You probably know this, and then click sync. Sometimes that sorts it out, but I have a piece of software on here now which automatically does it randomly throughout the day. But sometimes I think it was yesterday when the market sort of officially opened, it shut up a little bit, but as long as it's below 0.0 in something, back to normal. Yeah, it might just be, I don't quite know exactly what does it, but sometimes when you get a bit of quick volume, it does spike it a bit, but usually it doesn't last long. So, are we having a leg? Trapping a few longs and then another leg. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be even considering going long here, even though it is testing this area, especially after that. Okay, so if you went long there, thinking you were going to buy off the bottom, I think it was inevitable that was going to stitch you up. That was my concern, that it's looking like it may be trending down at the moment. Or maybe even just, yes, see, when you're learning to trade, you read so much stuff about the market's not out to get you, it's nothing personal. I actually disagree, because wherever there's weak positions, market usually eats them up. So why that is, I don't know, but so I would definitely disagree. The market is out to get you, because if you're an experienced trader, and let's face it, that's where a lot of this money comes from, experienced trader. If you're an experienced trader, it's the market just picks off weak positions. So I actually I disagree, and I think the market is out to get you. So is that a better option now? We've broken below and pushed straight in. So is that a failed breakout? I think the size of the bar might mean that it's not a bad option to go long. But I don't know. It's just something about it that's just not filling me full of confidence. But there was obviously some buy-in there. The trouble is on this NQ at the moment, we've had a couple of pushes up. That one failed. This one may trap some longs and come down. It's hard to say. It could do either or, really, but this to me looks like it could come down. So while the NQ looks like it may come down, although it is holding at the moment, I couldn't trade, because if this thing comes down, the ES will follow it. And if it comes down to break below there, that bar's going to get eaten up. So leg down, a couple of attempts to go higher. Let's see what happens here. So it might not, it may hold. But when you take a trade, especially with a 14 tick bar, that's the last thing you want to see it tick over and start to work down. But it is struggling to get down, so I mean, it's quite a strong bar anyway, so there'd have been some buying below there, so I don't know, maybe if there's stops there thinking it's going to ride up to the top, it may hold. But that concerns me as well. On that NQ was still below that EMA. It is struggling, put it that way, so I don't think it's a given it's coming down. But the way it's looking, I mean, you could say 1, 2, 3, almost like a triple test, isn't it? And a bearish bar. So there's obviously a battle going on. So that'll tell me if you went short there, it's triggered. So it may push straight up, go above that, but I don't know. It's a toss of a coin for me, this. But what I will say is if you get a bar like that, and as soon as it ticks above and starts to come down, straight away I'd be concerned I made a mistake there. That's what I'd be thinking. And whether it'll just come down and test this and then eventually alleviate your stress, but I doubt it very much. It may hold. Sometimes a strong position holds, but I wouldn't be too... Yeah, there you go. So that's not what you want to see. If there had been a second entry short, I still wouldn't have taken it just because you're going into support. So a nice strong bar. Loads of ticks, triggers you come straight down. And realistically, why wouldn't you buy off that area? Look what's happened before. But you can't ignore this, and it's looking like it's working down. And that's why I love having the NQ as well, because the NQ just gives me another opinion, and what's that looking like to you? So the last thing I'll be doing is thinking about going long on here. So it just backs up my decision making having that. ES, yeah, this is the ES, and this one's the NQ. This is what I trade the ES, but I use the NQ because they almost work sort of side by side. They can look quite different, but you can guarantee if the NQ comes down like it did there. Look, I mean, look, they're similar, but look at the move. If the NQ comes down and breaks below that bar like that, the ES will follow it. So I trade the ES, and if I'm looking at setups on there, so when I looked at taking that long, it's a process of elimination. This to me, price is under it. Look what's happened. We pushed up once, pushed up again, trapped some longs there. So this will tell me, it will give me a second opinion on whether to even consider that trade, because you'd consider it because we bounced once, twice, 3 times. There again, so as we broke below it, there was obviously some buying down there to push that bar up. So you consider going along there, you know, you even just for a second, but that would keep me out because this looks bearish. And what looks even more bearish is this. And at the time, we weren't closing above that. In fact, we struggled to even get above it. So having the NQ 1500 tick chart I use, they're sort of similar-ish, I think. But it just gives me a second opinion. I'd always have a quick glance left just to see, because they do sort of follow in tandem. This thing rockets up, they follow each other. Almost sometimes they can look almost identical, other times they can look quite different, but they still see it still works. So, wouldn't consider a short ear just yet, because we've come down, had 2 legs up, we've also had 2 legs down, and this thing could fail and push back up above here. What I'd like to see it do is to retest this line with 2 little legs, then I may consider short. The only trouble is, if you consider this the bottom of the channel, we've not come as close, and same here, so that would tell me if this is channel we may get a break. So if we can retest this without breaking with 2 little legs, I may think about a short there, but not on a first entry really. There's just no other setup there really. That's a good sign that we've bounced, but I want another go at it first. The same again, the NQ's looking nice, but that's only a first entry, so you can get stung there. So lower high here, or a second entry short here. What I like is that is still nice at the bottom, so if we can get a second entry short here or lower high, if I think that's going to work, that will come down then, and the ES will follow. So as long as I can see something on the both, but they're both looking sort of similar. So, but I haven't ruled out a little break here. See, that's the first entry, which is actually triggered. Now this thing's looking like it may take that out. Let's see what happens here. So there is a possible second entry short. My concern is though it's getting a bit congested there, so we could go up sideways and then up out the top. But on that. There's a little battle going on here, I think. If we can get below there, there'll be some traders trading that, I dare say, trading trading the breakout. So is that going to push up, or will it come below there? Definitely a battle going on. There's a little flickering up and down. And I think down we come, I think. Yeah. There we go. Got to get eaten up, surely. Yeah, there we go. So there's definitely some stops below there, fading that breakout. And that's just picked through them. I was tempted to put a short below there, actually. I used to have a strategy like that where I would just have a point. If I thought there was enough of a trap in the market, have a push down. It was a point risk and a point profit. Put it below there. If it's enough of a trap and it's going to pick off enough stops, it'll have a good push usually. Unfortunately, no second entry there really, so no opportunity there. Can't really take that one. It's only a first entry. So there is a bit of an overshoot on that NQ. Touch, touch, touch. So let's see if we get a correction here. So we're getting down to the open and the lows of the day. So really, it may just be a range day. It's hard to say at the moment until we if we start bouncing on here, but it's very much looking rangy at the moment. I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing on the NQ. I haven't added it to this. So an overshoot, so I expect a reasonable response. So leg down, little correction, touch, touch, touch. Let me just adjust this a bit because this may not look like an overshoot. Actually, it doesn't, does it? Maybe a small triple test there, but we're so close to these lows. And if there is an overshoot on the NQ, we could get a push up on the NQ, which would take this higher. So, unfortunately, 1, 2, 3. It is like a triple test. Maybe trapping some longs off the bottom, but I just couldn't take that. Previous day close, yeah. Trouble is, if that is a small overshoot on the NQ, we could get a leg and a leg, which would take this price up to here, which would quite likely end up here somewhere. So it might not. I mean, it's touched twice more in the same place, so it may even be negligible, but I always like to assume it has. Because it does fit so nice. So leg up, leg up. And it's so low as well, isn't it? I know sometimes when you think the market can't go down any further, but we are getting down to, like I say, someone mentioned you got yesterday's close, we got today's open, today's lows. They're all within, about 4 or 5 points. So you never quite know how it's going to react, do you? Whether we get a break. Excuse me, just a minute. I'm just going to tech aid him, but I'm just going to have a quick bathroom break. It won't be a second. Okay, what's going on here? So this is interesting. There may be a second entry short forming on the NQ. This may look like a bit of an overshoot, it may not, but that to me looks like a correction. So if we trap longs going up, we may turn down and come down quickly. Second entry short, let's see what happens. I'm going to get a short ready just in case.
Order submitted.
Unfortunately, not bearish enough. It's quite a small risk. I'm just not taking it. You could consider it a second entry short, but I'm just sitting tight at the minute. There is same there. That looks a little bit better to me, but I'm just staying out of this at the moment. I'd like to see a bigger breakout fail. So what I do like is let's have a look. This is the 10,000 tick chart. We've got a really nice channel with a break. So this, I still probably would expect this to come down at some point. So if we can get a lower high, we'll see. See how I feel about this. I'd like to have two legs really, and I don't think you could consider it as two legs. So it might not do what I think. We may go a little bit more before we pull back, come down. Even if we do, I'm just going to get rid of that for the minute.
Order cancelled.
Let me just see. I'm looking at down here. Okay, so we've got three little touches and another touch there, and we have got it fits there, so it may not. That might be its low. I'd still expect to at least come down and have a go at retest. Trouble is, if you are ranging, sometimes it just, if the overall is a range, even if it's a channel, sometimes it'll just come down and bounce and turn. So I think that just is really just a bottoming pattern, isn't it? We've come down, we've had a break, bounced a few times here, bounced again. Now we're going to bounce here and go up, or we're going to bounce, pull back, and then drop down and retest these areas. It's hard to do. I'm certainly not getting involved in a second entry long. I'd wait for the higher low. Second entry long may trap you, creating a failure. So channel, I added that initially, but you could say we've had actually a break. We've got a few bars in it here with a small break and a new high, so this could push up, or it could just trap some traders and come down. I'd like to see a higher low, a couple of attempts to break below here, and then maybe a second entry long, and then possibly a higher low, because it could come down and try and retest these at the bottom or the area, or break a new low. I'm not sure really. Right, let's see if we get a second entry long. I'm just not taking that as a short, because one, there's a lot of support here. It could bounce and give you a second entry long. So actually, technically, it already is a second entry long. That first entry. Look. No. Trouble is, we've almost looked like we're bottoming there, so it may not come back. It may have a go, or it could smash through it. It's really hard to tell at the moment. just nervous about taking that second entry long. What's the NQ doing? Same setup, but this is a bit congested. It may not form right anyway, but we could get a leg and a leg. It may break the lows. It may try and attempt to. But here at the moment, with this price looking like it is, it's dangerous. That's where I initially had that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches. That looks better to me. So we're bouncing off the top there. Still not ready to trust this thing to go long yet. If it gets below there, that's the next point. It could come. If it comes through there, it'll push right down here, but it may not. Breaks through that lot. It'll hit that, I think. Yeah, there we go. So it's eaten up whatever stops there was there. Trouble is, when it's this close and it almost looks like it's bottoming, it's just risky going short because it may trap you and turn. If this was a bit further up here and we had, a reasonable amount of space to go, I'd probably have a go at it, but wow. Okay, what time is it? I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break and make a quick cup of tea while it's sorting itself out there. I expect to pull back and maybe figure out what's going on. Just going to stretch my legs, quick cup of tea, and I'll be back 3 to 5 minutes. I'll take the rest day off. Too good trade me. Good on you, mate. Yeah, you have a good weekend too, buddy. Looks like touch a bigger channel there. So, do we get short here? Probably not. I'd like a couple of attempts to go higher before I think about that. Okay, leg down. I'd like two attempts to push higher. Sorry if you can hear me eating. I'm just eating some of yesterday's leftover paella. More slow, stagnant stuff. Kind of looks like a triple test, doesn't it? Just staying out of it. It's just, oh shit, excuse me. This thing's coming down, I think, isn't it? How far is the question? Are we just going to trap some shorts and then up we go? I'd like a leg up and a leg up, retest this, something bearish, like a fail break out of this. just no setups really, is there? Nothing here, nothing here, nothing there. Trouble is, you could say there was a lower high there, but you just don't know. We've come off the bottoms, whether we're going to have another leg up. We don't know we're coming down. Nothing here, nothing here. Nothing really there. It's just EMA's flat. You just don't know because we bounced there. You don't know whether we're going to bounce again. So there's no trades I can see really that are safe enough to take. You might have a crack at that one, but that is a bit more risky. But trades like that sometimes can really pay off. I've noticed Mac after a leg up and we get a correction marks the odd one, but it's just nothing. It's a normal story lately, isn't it? It's all just chop. Can't take anything there really. I did look at the triple test there, but it's so low you just can't. It's likely to trap you and just turn up. So you just can't do anything there. That's the trouble. It's bounced a few times there. I mean, you've got some support. We're very close to the lows here, so it'd be madness to take a short there. I mean, triggered you may get, I don't know, 3/4 of a point out of it, but then it turns and eats up and he stops. Nothing there really. Nothing at all. I'd like a leg up and another leg up, and then something here. It's hard to say though, really. Let's have a quick look on the daily. What we'll see is that chart I marked there earlier, that 10,000 tick chart, did exactly what it was supposed to. Had a break, came down, made a new low. So we may get a leg down plus another leg down here. It's hard to say really. Let's have a look at the daily. Okay, so we had this initial big channel, didn't we? Then we had a break of it. Leg, push up. We're going a bit sideways, so we could get a bit of a pullback here, couldn't we? We're getting up to support here, so it's just so hard, isn't it? Trouble is, a tiny move on here is like half a day's worth of moves on one of these. That's the trouble. So, channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, failure. I'd like to see it fail up here somewhere, and then if it does, maybe pick a lower high. Trouble is, we come off these lows, haven't we? We've come halfway and dropped and struggled to get down below, so I don't know, it may decide to range from the top down to the bottoms. It's hard to say. It's like watching paint dry, isn't it? I wonder if there's some sort of hobby that you can do in line with trading. So we have had a couple of attempts to push higher there and there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we now started to work back down. A few attempts. There. We had a breakout there again. So, seems that news seemed to change direction, didn't it? We had this, a couple of legs up here, a correction. It seemed to be working. And all of a sudden we had that news, and from then on it tends to just continue on down. Trouble is, at the moment it's really going sideways. Second entry short off the bottom maybe wouldn't be terrible. Trouble is, when it's doing this, it really could go bloody anywhere. It might come back up to here, could come further down, could have a break. I mean, yeah, we've got clearly going downwards at the moment. I think I'd like a couple of legs up to this area before I even consider going short. It's just too congested. It's just dangerous as hell trading like this. You can get chopped up. I mean, we are going downwards, but when it's going sideways, trap shorts stops them out. It's a pig when it's like this. 2 legs up, get up to here. You done, are you, Chris? Yeah, you have a good weekend as well, bud. Sorry, mate, I didn't see you there. So, 2 legs up, something bearish up here. God, this is slow today. Another slow day. If I'm even going to consider short, it's going to have to be up here somewhere. Come on, do something. So we've got a channel down, 1 attempt, 2nd attempt. Let's call this the 3rd attempt. If we push above here and then give us something bearish, there may be a short option there. Come on, push up, give us something. Come on, do something. Up, down, as long as it's something. I'd like to get a push up here somewhere and then drop down bearish. Come on, baby. Here you go. Bit higher and then give us a short. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Now give us a short. Trap some longs and give us a short. So we've got a channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, failure. Let's see how that triggers. If that triggers and gives us a lower high. I mean, it is two attempts to push higher, isn't it? I just don't know what's going on at the moment. It's just a ball ache of a market. My gut feeling is after two legs, it'll come down, but I just don't know at the moment. All this sideways is within this area, isn't it? The open, yeah, it's trying to push up. I'm just staying out of this at the moment. Yeah, I just don't think I'm interested. I like the idea of it, two legs up, but it's trying to push up. It just doesn't look like something that's going to continue down. And not only that, we are slowly looping up, aren't we? And we broke the lows of the day and we are flitting around this area. Yeah, that's not what you want to see, is it? Is that broken above there, is it? No, it hasn't. That's interesting. That's the bar I looked at to come down. It's triggered, that's pushed up, but it hasn't broken above it. So after these two legs, and that's if that stays closed below the EMA, I'd expect that to come down and break these lows. It is like a penguin style trade, isn't it? Channel down, or one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, failure. If it comes, pushes down below that EMA and stays below that EMA, we might get a little pullback and then down. It's not a strategy I take myself, but I do watch him, or did. I think he's given up, isn't he? So there's after this, there's going to be probably some long stops in some of these, I dare say. And after this, breaking their lows, maybe even here. Excuse me a sec. Right, are we going to trap some longs here and come down a bit? I've got mixed feelings about this. My bearish bar broke above the bullish bar. Oh, that one there. I had to look at that, to be honest with you. It hasn't. It looks like it has, but I'm pretty sure it hadn't. But yeah, it can make a slight difference in your bars. But if you went short there, it does look like 1-2 attempts to go high. You may even technically once, twice call that a triple test. I won't be surprised if it breaks above there, then comes down. Because there's going to be some longs there and some longs there. Very tempted to take that, I am.
Order submitted. Order cancelled.
Stop's going to need to be below there, isn't it?
Order submitted.
Might drop down really quick. Yeah, it's bloody gonna, isn't it? I had a feeling it was going to do that. I was tempted to put a sell stop below there. Trouble is, I'm finding my sell stops ain't picking them all my accounts up sometimes. There'll be some stops there, probably there as well. So, shut that for a sec.
Order cancelled.
Did I just close here? Oh, sorry. Let's see how many points that would go for. Trouble is, it's just a bit scary, isn't it? So if I'd have got in there, if it gets down below here and here, it's game over. We're going to have a good push down, maybe there, leg and a leg. I think it's a good setup to go short, actually. Trouble is, it's just a bit, what do I do? And in fact, I'll tell you what, I'm going to trade it on my evaluation.
Order submitted.
That's as many as I could
Target
get in.
filled.
Yeah, okay. It's all right. I just traded I knew what was going to happen. I just traded on my evaluation. I'm just not prepared to. It's a 13-point bar, that is. So I'm not prepared to take that on my accounts. So if I took it below there, it clearly got me points. Once it got below there, I expected a flush down. I kind of knew it was going to, but that bar there was just a bit bigger than I wanted to take. I was very tempted just to jump in a sell. So that tick above, tick below is 3.5. It's $350 on my account. I'm not prepared to risk $3,000 on that. Because, okay, yeah, I mean, there is support there. You are going into support, but if you can sort of work out what's going on, after we've broken out of these bottoms, there was a big bullish bar there, so we got a channel with a small break and a bullish bar and a new low. May have come down a couple of times and took off, but I was very tempted just to sell that. But the trouble is, we're so close to these bottoms. I kind of know in my gut what it's doing, but it's just a bit risky to trade all my accounts on, I think. So I ended up getting, well, I get $400 or $500 on that. Let me have a look. How many points did I get in? I did the full whack contract, 6.5. So it was a 1.25 on 10 contracts. I knew it was going on. 1.25 on 10 contracts. So what's that? $750. Okay. Is that right? Sounds like about right. Channel down. One attempt to go higher. Second attempt to go higher. When it went through that EMA, Penguin trader would have taken that, and he'd have put a limit order there, put his stop there, and he'd have been out before these lows. So I kind of knew what was happening. Not only that, you could say 1, 2, 3 triple test. That one held, which told me a lot, and then we had a quick drop there. So when that sliced straight through that EMA for me, that was coming down. But, you know, it is more of a penguin style, although there is a lower high there. But the trouble is, the lower high for Pats, it's still risky because there is still such a lot of support, and you just never know. There's such a lot of support around here, and going short there, I'm not prepared to risk $3,000 in my accounts. Not for something that is still congested, but I think it's down to understanding what's going on and reading it. And not only there, we had a small break. So you just never know whether it might, but, you know, I'm happy to risk it on my evaluation. So I just ducked over to it quickly. So, and I hit it 5 times. Just went for 10 contracts, but only went for a 1.5 or 1.25, sorry, but on 10 contracts, $750. So it's worth the go. So let's put it back to where it was, 56. Probably got to be careful doing that because I've done that before and accidentally traded one of my accounts on 10 contracts. And I nearly physically shat myself there and then, so you've got to be careful. So, pre-allocated. Let's go for 8 there. 2, 2. I should have just toggled off, really. Might have been a bit easier. Okay, so 2 on all of those. $56. Brilliant. Let me just drop a short.
Order submitted.
Come out. Excellent.
Order cancelled.
10 ticks. Yeah, okay, brilliant. Yeah, definitely a low day today. So that was it. Anybody else take that short, did they? The lower high. It's kind of a failed breakout there anyway, so you'd probably expect it to go lower, but it is congested. I think you got to know what you're doing there, and you know, I'm getting better at reading these areas, but which is why I shot over to the evaluation, because my gut told me we were coming down, but I'd rather go on what I know rather than my gut. But I think initially that gut feeling is based on experience and based on, you know, noticing and seeing what's going on. Not only that, there is going to be some longs in there. There's kind of a failure there. There'll be some longs in there, quite possibly there. Maybe a few there. Channel down with a little break and a new low after breaking the lows, maybe thinking it's ranging. We're going to push up to the top. So this, I just can't see many areas where there may be shorts in there. You're not going to short any of this. See, so I think the only traders in here really were the longs trying to pick bottoms. And then obviously we push straight through a bunch of them here. So that channel now has had a break. We got a touch, which has confirmed it's clearly working there, close enough there. So we've had a small break, lower high, push down, broken the lows. So that has played out. So is it going to continue down or is it not? Yeah, it's definitely been a tougher week. There's been little price action, very slow. What price action there has been. Not a great deal of setups, but it does happen from time to time. We had a real stretch of slow. It seemed to go on for weeks, and then a couple of weeks it improved. I even took 3 trades in 30 minutes, really good ones. So it is swings and roundabouts. Sometimes it does take time. Sometimes you get some good stuff, but you just got to capitalise when it's available and just try and sit down. But the trouble is, the more you are sit down, the less trades you take, the more it can play on your patience. And that's sometimes where you can start to bend your rules a little bit. And market, it's got a really, really clever way of giving you a slap when you cock up. You know what I mean? When you break the rules and twist things, for some reason you never seem to get any luck. I don't know if you guys have known, whenever you revenge trade, whenever you go with long or short, market always seems to go with deficit. It always seems to go into the red straight away. As soon as you jump in a trade in anger, you always go straight into the red. For the life of me, I don't know why. You can't even rely on luck. Which, in all fairness, when you're revenge trading, luck's the only thing that's going to pull you out of it. But it always seems to go against you 9 times out of 10. For the life of me, I don't know. But it just seems to work that way. Okay, so 2 good legs down. Now what are we going to do? So we've had a break and 2 pushes down to a new low. There is some support around here, so that might be a place where we maybe get some of the opposite stuff. Yeah, look at that. So let's see if we now maybe start to work up. I have a feeling it's just going to be a slow day today. Very tempted to take that. Very tempted. Trouble is, it is still a bit sideways. I mean, we are coming down, so the natural thing you'd expect it to do is go down more than it goes up. But as we've pushed down, it is looking like it's starting to come up, which is why there may be a few longs in there. But once we get that, takes out that stop, then that one, maybe any shorter than there, straight down then, clearing everything out, a little bit of a pullback and then down again. So I think we may have had like a measured leg, just looking at that. Similar sort of pattern on the NQ, really. There was a triple test there, which was kind of nice. Channel down, 1, 2, 3. I'd have preferred that being bearish, but it is still bearish. Straight down. But it's telling us the same picture on here, really. Clearly sort of bearish, a leg down, sideways, followed by another leg. Excuse me a sec. Okay, so we've tested that. Another retest now. Are we now going to make some upward stuff or what? I like the way we've had, after the break, 2 clear legs down. Another retest. Are we going up now? Or are we going to come down a bit further? Yeah, I was very, very close to just hitting the sell button and rather than right click and do it. But I used to do that quite a lot, but I've slowed down now because I just have a little bit of time to think. Sometimes emotions used to get the better of me and I just go straight for the sell button. So I tend to slow things down a little bit now. So look at this NQ. The whole thing's one big channeling. Let's have a look. Touch, 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 touch. Fitting beautifully. Yeah, we're in one big channel here. So, leg and leg, maybe this is the first break. So maybe there is some more. Maybe we will go a bit lower. Touch, 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 touch. Maybe. Doesn't look bad, does it? Anybody else got that as one big channel? Funnily enough, look what's just appeared right on that line. Little channel with a break, new high. If we can get a lower high here somewhere, then that may be an option. Channel, break, new high. Keep an eye on that. Trouble is, even if it is a channel, we've come away from these lows here, so if it does come down, I don't think it'll get far. I think we're due a break. Yeah, I think we're going to have a break. Coming away from the bottom there. It's losing a little bit of momentum. Push up. Interesting. In fact, we're retesting the underside of this, aren't we? Yeah, that's interesting. So right, I'm just looking at this. It looked like it was about to rack off above this, but it might be a little kind of a second entry short there. See if this breaks above this. I think it probably will, but I didn't know whether it was going to trap this and then come down some more. But we've got to have a break because it's coming away from that channel, isn't it? So when that happens, we're losing momentum. We've got two legs down. We're bottoming a bit, so we've got to get a break. It's coming away, isn't it? Sort of start at the bottom, down the bottom here, up to the top, down the bottom, up to the top, 2 legs down, just below the centre. You've got to have a break, really. See, I initially had it drawn slightly tighter there, but the reason I extended it is because it fits much better on the on the NQ. And if it's still tight on the NQ, and we have a break, which we are now, and then a new short, a new retest of the lows, I don't want to be thinking about long because we've had a break on my channel. It looks like the NQ's coming down some more. It's a bit early yet, but wedge bottom on the 5 minute with good signal bar reversal, maybe. Yeah, that's always possible, isn't it? I put this down here. You can see there's a lot of support there. We pushed up and sat on top of this for a while, and then eventually pushed up. So we haven't had 2 legs down, but that doesn't really matter, does it? We couldn't cope with getting through this for a starters, and we've rejected off it. So we'll have to see now. So maybe get some short traps, and if that happens and it starts to push up, then yeah, maybe a reversal. But it may just turn into, we've had a couple of big legs up there, a leg, and then a leg, and then a couple of legs down, and maybe we may end up rallying towards the end. I think Friday we usually do have a rally sometimes, don't we? So we could end up towards these highs again sometimes. So it just may be really more of a range day, up, down, and up, and more or less. But that's just sort of call it an educated guess, really. But I've not ruled out that it may come down and retest the lows on that NQ. If it does on the NQ, the ES will follow it. But I'm not thinking about shorts just yet, or longs. I want to see some clear evidence we're going up. Some trapped shorts would be enough. Yeah, that for me is the trade of the day, really. Unfortunately, because of all this, it was a 13 tick bar, tick above, tick below. I'm not risking over $3,000 on one trade. It's just, my gut tells me it was coming down because channel down, 1 attempt higher, 2nd attempt higher. Not only that, it's, as I've rejoined this channel, look where it's rejection straight off there, a little bit of sideways and down and down and down. So my thought process was right, but you know, I'll have enough experience to get into these more, you know, as sort of the years go on. But I'm pretty sure I was looking at, if that had been a smaller risk, then I'd have had a go at that on my accounts. But 13 ticks, tick above, tick below, I'm not risking 15 ticks on that. 8 ticks, 9 ticks, maybe even 10, then yeah, I'd have had a go. But it's just not worth it. So I switched over to my evaluation. I'm quite happy to throw 10 contracts at that evaluation for £25. Okay, so maybe some shorts in there. And all of a sudden now we're going to turn. It's looking like we've sort of had a little channel break, new high, got the bearish bars, back to the EMA, break below it. Are we going to push up or are we going to retest the lows? This to me looks a better channel than the ES. We got a touch, a touch, a touch, a touch, and it's fitting perfectly along there and perfectly on the bottom. You can see it coming away there, which means it's losing momentum. Load of sideways, back up to the top of the channel, and then 2 legs down, and we haven't got down that far. So small channel break, new high. It does look like we're coming down to retest it, but we may not. It just depends on the market. But so just because we may go short, I'm staying out of any possible longs here that I think may be trapping shorts, because I'm not convinced that that the NQ is not going to come down to the lows. See what happens here. See, if people think we are bottoming, then they may take a long like that. That might be an attractive trade to go long. So let's see if it triggers above this and then comes down. I mean, it may go up. But I'm just not taking any longs at the moment because that NQ could test the lows. Interesting. Interesting. Is this going to bounce? Let's have a look at bookmap. See if that's shown us any picture. Okay, it's got below that now, so that might mean something different. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. There is some big orders down here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing does come down some more. So I think my accounts are up a grand total of about $18 or $19 so far this week. It's been a hard week, actually. There really hasn't been a lot of trades around. I think I've had a couple of winners and a loss all week. Apart from the odd evaluation. But it has been a very slow, hard week. So on a bad week, if I end up 0, well, it is what it is, isn't it? Much better than being in the red. Last week was okay. I think I ended up about 3 trades up. Week before, about the same. My goal really, well, I say goal. I mean, you can only take what you can take, can't you? But if I can get over 3 winning trades, or 3 winning trades gives me an average of $600 per account. So even taking away fees, that's more than $2,000 a month. So I'm happy with that. And even on, if it was an absolute crap month, diabolical, even half of that would still serve me right. So channel down. Are we making a couple of attempts? Will we come down some more, or are we starting to reverse? Hard to say at the moment. Oh, excuse me. Are you still using bookmark? I literally just this second shut it down. It is, where was it? It was here a minute ago. Yeah, there we go. There she blows. Yeah, I was just looking at, there are some, it's pushing up a bit now. There were some big orders down there, so he's sat there. So whether it was going to sort of worm its way through these, it's hard to say really, isn't it? But obviously these are just sort of more passive orders. It's a lot down to aggressive sellers and buyers as well. So it may reverse here actually. It may do. May. Unless we just have 2 attempts and then it does come down, but I'm not sure. See on that NQ chart, we've had a really nice channel, touching perfect, and really nice along the bottom as well. We've come away a little bit, so I'd expect a break and a retest, but we are down to some support. You can see it there, exactly the same. Hold on a second. This is the ES. What the hell is going on here? It's supposed to be the NQ. What have I done here? So I've been basing a lot of my decisions based on the same chart. What is going on? How the hell can that? Hold on a second. Oh, right. Okay. I'm going to say it looks different. It's because it's the 1500 tick chart. That's why. You prat. Let's have a look. Right, let's see if we can find out what the NQ is doing. Okay, NQ totally flipping different. So I'm basing a lot of my decisions off the same bloody chart. Just a different tick thing. Well. Let's have a look. Okay, this is a completely different story. Okay, channel down with a break of new low. This looks like it's going sideways. I don't know how the hell I managed to do that, but something went wrong. Something went wrong somewhere. It's betrayed. Obviously, clearly not long enough. Let's have a look. That's strange, isn't it? Yeah, it was a 1500 tick chart. Yes, I've just changed it over. So leg up, leg down, leg down, leg up, leg down. Are we coming down? So that looks more. Oh, I'm surprised how different it looks. That it's looking more sidewaysy. So let's clean some of this up. What a plunker! Oh well, didn't go against me. So what was I looking at back there? Yeah, it didn't really look any better. Yeah, I think it's looking like it's going a little bit more sideways. Not a fan of that at the moment. Let's just leave it away at it for now. So that was the main bulk of it. We had a failed breakout here, which came back in. Failed breakout at the top, which did what it was supposed to. as we're pushing up there, there's a failure there, maybe a higher low. I thought that was trapping the longs, but it wasn't. Maybe there's been longs by there. Maybe they're thinking we're pushing up now. And then straight down. If you can get these trays, these are usually effective. It wasn't the best looking bar there. That looked okay. And to be fair, it did hold. But 2 legs up and a breakout of here in a downtrend is usually a really good trade take. But I just didn't like that for some reason. The lower high did the trick, but the trouble is there is a lot of support there, so you just don't know. Sometimes break out the top, small break out the bottom, comes back in, but my gut told me it was okay to take, but I just didn't want to risk, especially on a Friday, $3,000 with my accounts on it, over 3,000 actually. I ain't doing that. So safer plan just to stay out of it. Trouble is, if you lose the money, you consider it a loss. If you don't take the trade, you don't consider it a loss, even though I could have had $3,000 in my account or $2,500. But you don't consider it that way. Much better to miss a winning trade than to take a losing trade, put it that way. Okay, let's have a look. In fact, we're coming up to quarter two. I'm probably going to knock on the end in a minute, actually. Leg and a leg, leg and a leg. Yeah, see, the reason I changed that is because I said it looked good on the NQ. Now I think about it, it actually wasn't on the NQ, was it? It was on the ES, just a different time frame. So does that mean the 1500 tick chart of the NQ is fitting? Let me just flick back to it at the ES, sorry. Yeah, see, that's initially what I'd switched back over to. I didn't realise it was the ES. If I just make this a bit larger, we've got a touch, a touch, a touch, a touch. It's fitting perfect. Touch in there, touch in there. A nice leg, sideways leg. Are we getting a leg and coming down, or is this reversing? It's hard to say, really. This is the 1500 tick chart, but if it gets above that lot, if it gets above there, and retests this, it's game over. It's up, I think. So it just goes to show, doesn't it? Let's see if there was any. See, there's that lower high. Kind of looked a bit better there. Right back there as well. See, there was a little double top there, which was interesting. It just a bit clearer here, and then a lower high, which just basically came straight down. Let's see if there was any setups on this. Sometimes the extra detail gives you some setups, but there's nothing I can really say there. It's that triple test looking thing, but it's a bit wicky, isn't it? So that lower high, that's all I can really see today. So let's just switch that back to the NQ before I lose my mind again. Touch, touch, touch. Fitting nice there. Clear break. 2 pushes into a new low. 1 attempt to go lower. 2nd attempt to go lower. It's hard to say here. You could trap some short to rock it up. I don't know. So keep an eye on that. So 2 legs up. If this comes down below that EMA, pushes through it, then I think this is coming down some more. You're done. $200 on all your PAs. Good on you, mate. That's where you want to be. I'm happy with that. $200, 2 points on my account. So that's what I strive for today. If I can get one of them a day, I'm over the moon. But yeah, you have a good weekend, mate. Right, are we going up now? Okay, I'm going to knock it on the head there, folks, I think. About 10 minutes under 3 hours. It's really slow today. It's not been the best week, but I am literally just above above break even for the week. So I think I've got a grand total of about $20 up for the week. But this is probably the worst week I've had, in all fairness. The previous 3 weeks were good. But it's been slow this week. There hasn't been a few setups. That one was there, but it was slightly big and it's still a bit congested, so I didn't want to take it on my account, although it would have worked, which is always nice to know, but I took advantage of it on an evaluation. So, but it's so slow. It may reverse, it may come down, but we could sit here for another half an hour and it's still stuck here. So I'm going to go and enjoy my weekend. So if you're carrying on trading, best of luck. Apart from that, have a great weekend. Stay safe. And I'll be back on Monday. Hopefully, we'll get a better week. So have a great weekend. And I'll see you all Monday. Bye for now.